Now you have to unmute, Jack.
So good morning and welcome to this prayerful pause as we are wrapped in the snowy, frigid prayer shawl of winter on this January 15th as we celebrate, commemorate, and honor the life, legacy, and impact of Martin Luther King Jr. This day honors his life and achievements, and I couldn't just skip over it and do something else because the man has been amazing, and I'll say a little bit more, but we need to be here thinking of and praying with and for our nation. Martin Luther King, as you know, is a great civil rights leader who played a pivotal role in the advancement of racial equality and justice, while always advocating for nonviolence, always advocating for nonviolence. It was in 1963 that he did his famous I Have a Dream speech, and that was the March on Washington, at which over 250,000 people attended in support and in great longing. And so here we are, 61 years later, and we are mired deeply in the ongoing struggle for justice and equality. So with all of the overriding issues and just everything we face daily now, and it just seems to increase over and over and get deeper and deeper, I often ask myself, as I'm sure many of you do, is like, what do we do? It's just so overwhelming, and I don't have answers, but I know the one thing we can do, which we do because we believe in the power of prayer, is pray. And so what I'm going to offer this morning is 4 intentions. They're actually petitions from yesterday's Mass that we used. And they pretty well say and name the things that we need to pray for, which we need to hold in our hearts. And so I'm going to read one of those at a time, and then we're going to pause. And I invite you to just be silent and hold that prayer and whatever comes to you close to your heart for a short time. And then I'll read the second and the fourth. And we will close with a song, of course, at the end. So I'm going to invite you to just relax as you can in your chair, close your eyes, and just breathe normally to relax. Breathe in relaxation and peace, and exhale anything that's heavy on your heart, bringing you anxiety, worries, whatever. So just be relaxed and calm, breathing in and out as you become more deeply in God's presence. And so we pray. As we observe Martin Luther King holiday today, we continue to ask for hope, courage, and unity as we, as a nation, continue to struggle under the weight of violence and hate. In communion with Pope Francis and church leaders, unite us in faith and purpose. Protect Pope Francis's leadership so that together we may find ways to rise above the darkness and embrace the light. May this year be a year of blessing and grace for those in need. May the poor find dignity, the hungry be fed, the hurting strengthened, the angry find forgiveness. May migrants and refugees be welcomed, respected, and allowed to establish new lives for their families. That world leaders bring hope and healing to our world by choosing peace over violence and understanding over conflict. And may we embrace the truth that all people are a part of God's family. And as we listen to this song, our closing, to what I would invite you to listen for what is calling most powerfully to your spirit, your mind, your heart, so that we might make a difference in this very broken world of ours. The song is called Invocation, and it's sung by Chris Williamson. So please open yourself to this song.
When in dreaming sacred comes, let our eyes be open. Music frightens fear away. Let our ears be open. Knowledge of the blood abounds. Let our hearts be open. Hatred holds such fearful sway. Let our minds be open. Wisdom be with us this day. Let our souls be open. Living long where love abides. Let our lives be open. Open our eyes. Open our ears. Open our hearts. Open our minds. Open our souls. Open our lives. Let our lives be open. Let our eyes be open. Let our ears be open. Let our hearts be open. Let our minds be open. Open our eyes. Open our ears. Open our hearts. Open our minds. Open our souls. Open our lives. Let our lives be open. Open our eyes. Let our lives be open. Open our ears. Let our lives be open. Open our heart. Let our lives be open. Open our mind. Let our lives be open. Open our soul. Let our lives be open. Open our lives. Let our lives be open. Let our lives be open.
Martin Luther King Jr. would have been 95 today. This is his actual birthday. So,
Thank you, Jackie.
That was
Thank
just perfect. Thank you so much.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect
A
prayer.
little light in all the darkness. Got to do what we can. Okay.
Much.
Go Furnace.
Doing good.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay warm and safe today.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Bye all. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
all.
you.
Thanks,
Keep,
Jackie.
yep, keep moving forward.
Thank you, Jackie.
It was beautiful.
Yes. Take
All right, we're come on. There we go.
How's Karen?
Hanging in there yet, but she is such a light. She is engaged and just hanging in there.
That's beautiful.
You know, and I have to tell you, because of my church being my church, we had a lot with Martin Luther King Jr. yesterday, and 2 stories from church, and I'll make them both brief. The first one I actually heard 2-3 years ago. The children that were bombed in the church in Birmingham, one of the ladies at my church actually knew all of them. She was in class with them, but homesick that day. And so she was not murdered. But that's very, very close. But another lady yesterday told us a story that when she was growing up, Martin Luther King Jr. lived in Chicago, and the parents said, "You have to go see him." And because she was the oldest, she led them to his house, knocked on the door, and he lived on the 3rd floor. Somebody else opened the door and said, "Yes." And they said, "We're here to see Dr. King." I'm sure I'm paraphrasing. And he said, "Oh, he's a very busy man. He wouldn't have time to see you." And he called down from upstairs and said, "Who's at the door?" And he said, "Some children." And he said, "I always have time for children." And it just got better. That was the beginning of the story. But wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very, very thin space during all of that conversation.
Oh, thanks for
Love to, yep. Love to you and Vince.
sharing. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.